What is going on, everyone, and welcome in to NHL Best Bets for May 20th, presented by the Odd Shoppers. As always, I'm Gator Betting, joined by my co-host today. We got Franco the Banker here to give out his best bet. Franco, we have made it to the conference finals. We got one game tonight. The Eastern Conference finals are kicking off tonight between Carolina and Florida. So, going to be a limited slate in terms of how many picks we give out. Before we get into our best bets, be sure to check us out on the Odd Shoppers Tails Network, where we're dropping all of our early plays, giving our subscribers a chance to grab the best lines before they move. If you are interested in signing up, you can use promo code PUCKS for 50% off your first month. The link for that will be in the description of this video, as always. Also, later in the show, we'll be breaking down our favorite plus EV play of the night, courtesy of the Portfolio EV tool from the Odd Shoppers. We're pumped to have you with us. So let's get into our best bets of the day. Franco, as we mentioned before, we got one game tonight. Eastern Conference Finals kicking off. Florida, Carolina. Let's hear what you got.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the Florida side here. I think they're coming in. They played on Sunday, so they should be coming in feeling pretty good about themselves after that big win. And we could see a little bit of rust, at least early, from Carolina. We'll see. I mean, I know it's always the big debate, rust versus rust. Maybe Carolina needed that rest. We'll see what happens. But regardless, I'm looking towards the Florida side. I'm looking at a guy that has just been dominant on the road, and there's no reason not to keep coming back to him, and that's Brad Marchand to get a point tonight. Best price I'm seeing is plus 125 on Bet365. You can get it like plus 110 on DraftKings. So shop around. I like any of those prices though. If you don't have Bet365, I'm fine with the plus 110. If you look at Marchand so far in this playoffs, he has a point in 6 of the 7 games that Florida has played on the road so far. So again, just being a road warrior for them. It seems like what typically happens is the top line gets the best shutdown line from the team they're playing against on the road. So that last series was the Matthews line went against Barkov and shut them down, and that left the third line with Marchand, Lundell, and Luostarinen to really just pick up the slack, and they were great in every road game. They record points, I believe, in every road game. So yeah, I think it's just a great look. And then if you look at his history against Carolina, 4 points in his last 4 games. That's 4 total across 4 games. So he's hitting 3 of 4. So still a good hit rate. That's 75%. I know you look at this series and you think unders, just given what Carolina's done so far this playoffs, but I think this is really a step up in class for Carolina's defense. We'll see if they can shut down Florida the way they have Washington and
New Jersey.
Or New Jersey, sorry.
New Jersey, yeah.
Yes. New Jersey had a lot of injuries, so they were really lacking, what Florida has in depth. And I just don't think Washington has the depth either that Florida has. And I think this is like the line, at least in these road games, that's going to have to produce for Florida. So look for that third line to get it done. I don't mind stacking them. I've cashed twice now, 2 games in a row on road games. I typically do a little bit on Lundell and Marchand, and then I go the full line stack, and that's plus 1,000 on Bet365. So I don't mind sprinkling a little there. But the main play, Marchand point, plus 125.
The full line stack is Marchand, Lundell, and Luostarinen.
Yes.
All the recorded point, and that's usually around 10-1. So
yes,
some pretty
it's
good.
It's a great sprinkle. It's hitting 2 straight. I believe 3 of 4 road games of the last 4 road games for them.
Love that. A big critique of this Carolina team has been they've played boring hockey. And, there's 2 sides to every story. Has it been effective? Oh, for sure. But I'm actually excited. I'm hoping they play boring hockey tonight because I love the under 5.5 here. I think it's around minus 130 on most books. If you shop, I think you can get minus 125, but that line has been fluctuating early this morning. Looking at the goaltending matchup, I think this is the biggest thing here with these 2 teams. Frederik Andersen has been phenomenal this postseason. He leads the postseason with a plus 12.2 goals saved above expected. Sergei Bobrovsky is 7th on this list with a plus 1.8 goals saved above expected. He kind of struggled at the start of the postseason, but I think we saw it towards those late games in that Toronto series. He certainly tried to kind of come into his own. Looking at Florida's last 4 games here, 1, 2, 1, 0 goals against. Their offense has certainly been potent, but I think Carolina has the ability to shut them down or at least slow them down. And I think this is the best goaltender they've faced this postseason. Carolina, as before we mentioned, 1, 2, 0, 3, 1 in that Washington series. So they have been pretty good for a shutdown team as well. I think this is kind of a field out game here. I think Carolina is really going to try to slow this potent Florida offense down. And I think they're going to kind of have the ability to do so given the last line change. So I really like the under 5.5 here at -130 tonight. Any other plays we got for the people? Limited slate, so it's kind of tough to pick out your favorites.
Yeah, I mean, I lean Florida money line. Like I said, I think in general, I think their offense kind of found themselves. I think, like you said, Bobrovsky kind of came into his own in the last few games as well, just really making some great saves and shutting them down. So I do agree with you on the under there. I could see maybe like a 3-1 Florida type of game here. I think that's what we start out with in this series, and I think Carolina can probably take game 2, but I just think Florida's coming in feeling good about themselves and how they're playing. They kind of are starting to really click, and that's a scary thing for any team in this playoffs.
Certainly. Another look that I was another prop, that I was taking a look at was Matthew Tkachuk under 2.5 shots on goal. That's -148 on DK. I think you can get a better price, though, on FanDuel, if I'm not mistaken. Carolina has only allowed an average of 24 shots on goal per game this postseason, given their opponents, though. You have to take it with a grain of salt here with Washington and New Jersey. But Tkachuk has only covered this line in, 3 games this postseason? He hasn't really kind of been that offensive playmaker that we've seen him in the past. And against Carolina, he's gone under at this 2.5 shots on goal line in each of his last 6 games against them. So a little bit steep of a price here at -148 on DK. Obviously shop that around to FanDuel if you are taking that under, because that is a 60-minute cutoff. So I'd recommend taking it there. But I don't mind the Matthew Tkachuk under 2.5 shots on goal tonight. So with that being said, let's get into the Portfolio EV play of the day. Looking at this Portfolio EV tool presented by the Odd Shoppers, as always, you can use promo code NHLBET for 50% off your first month. This amazing tool. We highly recommend it. The one prop we're looking at tonight, courtesy of the Portfolio EV tool, is going to be Logan Stankoven under 0.5 point tonight. We talked about this. We think it's going to be a tight matchup between Florida and Carolina. We don't expect too many goals here. And looking at Stankoven, he's in a line with Hall and Roslovic right now. He hasn't necessarily been kind of very productive this postseason. I know he got moved late at the trade deadline, involved in that Rantanen trade, but he's missed in his last 2 games. In that Washington series, he only had 2 points. And same with the New Jersey series. So he's only hit in 4 of the 10 games this postseason. He doesn't necessarily have a great history against Florida either when looking at it. He's gone under that 0.5 point in 2 of his last 3 matchups here. Franco, we kind of talked about it too. Just the lines don't really line up. That wasn't really great wordage, but it is what it is. He's on that second power play unit, and they're just going to try to get other lines going tonight.
Yeah, I think just in general, like if you're Carolina, this is your first home game of the series here. You're going to be looking, you stack that first line, moving Jarvis back up to it. I think that was in like game 4 or game 3 of that Washington series. And moved Blake back down. So you really have stacked this first line to be your top scorers with Svechnikov, Aho, and Jarvis all in that first line. So you're going to look to get that away from the Barkov line, which is, Florida's shutdown line, so to speak, and get them in more advantageous matchups. So look for Brendan Moore to get that first line going mostly, whereas, that's going to leave that second line probably going against either the Tkachuk or the Lundell and Marchand line. So I could see this line being more stuck in their zone, more hemmed in their zone. And yeah, I think just in general, that's not going to be conducive to him scoring goals or putting up points. And he's also on the second power play unit. So same thing. It just depends on how many penalty calls we get, but I just don't see him getting a ton of offensive opportunity here in a game where we don't think there's going to be a lot of goals either. Like I said, I thought Carolina's 1 to 2 goals in this game here. So I'm not banking on it being coming from the second line or the second power play.
No, Carolina's power play has also struggled in the last 2 games, going 0-2 and 0-3. And Florida's had a solid PK this postseason. They haven't allowed a power play goal in each of their last 4 games. And against Toronto, they only allowed 2, which, again, I think we're both in agreement here of as a little bit more offensive firepower than Carolina does in this matchup. So the play, courtesy of the Portfolio EV tool, is going to be Logan Stankoven under 0.5 point tonight. All right, that's going to wrap up NHL Best Bets for Tuesday, May 20th. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. As always, be sure to check us out on the Odd Shoppers Tails Network. You can use promo code PUCKS for 50% off. And if you're looking for access to this incredible tool, the Portfolio EV tool, use promo code NHLBETS for 50% off your first month. Catch us live every Monday and Wednesday on the Expected Bets for YouTube channel and our Twitter account. Go live at 5:30, breaking down the NHL slate for the day. So we will be back Thursday on the Odd Shoppers Network. So we will talk to you then.